Welcome to the first ever episode of Answering the 10 Count. I'm Justin,
I'm Maddie.
and we are the Shootcast.
Bang bang.
For this week's episode, we'll be covering our personal top 10 favorite current day wrestlers. So, without any further ado, let's start our list. Coming in at number 10, Seth Rollins.
Freaking Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins. So, what about Seth Rollins stands out for you?
Well, Seth's on my list primarily for in-ring abilities. His character was great as a heel. His character right now is not my favorite. His in-ring ability, his in-ring performances never failed to impress me and never failed to entertain me. It's been pretty effortless for him no matter what feud he's been in with anybody. He seems to find a chemistry really quick with anybody he gets in a feud with. Like I said, character, the moves I'm making with him right now, not exactly my cup of tea, but he's shown very good things. I think he has very good potential to do very great things.
I mean, I think he's someone that has got a fair shake. Like, when you look at his heel run, while there were good elements to it, they booked him to where most of his matches he was winning with J&J Security. And while I love Joey Mercury and I love good old
Jamie Noble boy.
Good old Jamie Noble. But to have someone that was so talented winning so cheaply, that cost him for me a little bit. But he still makes the list because when he does perform, he is one of the best performers nowadays. And if they just booked him better and they gave him a character that suits him, he can get over. And he's over now, but he's just that much further from being one of the legit top guys.
Well, I said from the beginning when the Shield broke up that, in my opinion, WWE did it backwards. They swapped. If you swap him and Roman Reigns and that scenario then and there, and make Reigns be the one that turns in the Shield,
Yeah.
and then put Reigns with Reigns with Triple H, which more fits Triple H's history.
Shane would be the top. Roman Reigns would be the top guy in history.
The boos that you hear for Reigns now would be like overwhelming cheers, in my opinion. And just the storyline itself, the storyline they went down the road with Reigns trying to make him sympathetic because the Authority was screwing him every time. It doesn't work when you're trying to portray the guy as a big dog, as a power wrestler, as the modern day Super Cena type guy. If you put Reigns with Triple H, which more fits Triple H's history with who he tries to associate himself with, like larger than life people. He did it with DX. He had Shawn. He had a very charismatic team there. And then Evolution, you put yourself with Orton, who was like huge coming out of the scene then. Batista, who was like the big monster guy there. And then of course Flair, who his name speaks for itself. Reigns, I think, would have meshed better, aligned with the Authority. And Rollins would have came across a lot better as a sympathetic challenger or sympathetic champion with Authority coming after him, similar to what Daniel Bryan's push was, which the only reason that worked is because Daniel Bryan was a smaller guy, was a guy who didn't deserve it, who, along those lines. I think they messed up there. I think they came late to the story. I think the storyline with Triple H was late to the show, like overdue when it came, and when it finally did come, I think people were over it. Granted, the injuries and stuff happens, but as good as he is, he could have been so much better, in my opinion, at this point in time. But like I said, I still think he has a lot of greatness ahead of him.
I still think his best days are ahead of him if they figure out what they want him to be. If they want him to be a top heel, I think he'll succeed. If they decide he wants to be a top babyface, I think he'll succeed. They just need to make up their minds. And right now, either way, Raw's crowded. Especially with Brock not being there week to week, it just makes everyone seem that much more necessary, but at the same time, they don't have anything for them to do. So his best days are ahead of him. It's just surviving till then. So number 9, we have Sami Zayn. For Sami, I mean, the only thing that holds him back is his character.
Absolutely.
He is just so boring as a character. In ring, he can go with anybody. You can put him in there with the Great Khali and have a good match. He can sell. He can do face and peril pretty well. He has a good moveset. He can work multiple styles. Hell, he's even worked under a mask. But until they figure out his character, I don't know what his ceiling is. I think what they should do is probably just copy the Daniel Bryan model with him and go straight babyface. The corporate doesn't want them and push them that way. But being on SmackDown, that's not going to be how he gets pushed. So right now, he's just going to be that guy that gets beat up, randomly wins, and you cheer for him because you like him.
Yeah, Sammy's on my list. Probably on his just ring ability alone. His, again, top-notch matches every time he's in the ring, no matter who's in the ring with. Like Justin said, his character, though, is very weak. Everything about Sami, from his entrance music that the crowd gets going to, sings along to, and everything. His moveset is exciting. He has a very good ring psychology of being the underdog, like to where he's made a name now for himself. They're actually referring to him as the underdog on the show. But once you put a microphone on his face, it's like any excitement or any feelings of this is the guy goes away from me. His
character now is basically Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, I think it regressed with the Mick Foley storyline when Mick Foley left, and him basically being Mick Foley being his idol. The way that whole kind of thing came across, and then when Kurt Angle showed up and he instantly brown nosed with Kurt, I feel like that did him more damage than help. In my opinion, I don't think the Daniel Bryan thing works for him necessarily. I think more of like a Rey Mysterio build works, where it's a character, it's a wrestler that people get behind, and he's kind of established himself outside of WWE, where he's familiar. People, the WWE universe is familiar with him, and it's almost like him being the long shot, to where when he gets to that peak, it's a miraculous feat more than it is a overdue feat in that sense.
Yeah.
Much like Mysterio's run when he beat I would say more like Mysterio's run in WCW than WWF when he captivated his win, the title win over Nash at the time, which was, David slaying Goliath kind of deal. Which they might have already missed their shot with that by feuding him with Strowman already. Strowman would have been a good guy for him to go over on like that.
I think they missed with Sami with the whole storyline with Strowman. If they had him beat him miraculously, just like he did against Kevin Owens, and then they continued with that, they could have had something. I still think he should have won the Royal Rumble this year. It should have been, he came in at number 1, somehow lasted till the end, and survived. And you could have tied it into the whole authority thing that was going on. And it would have been the perfect underdog story. And it would have been something where it's like, that was well deserved. He's been working for years. He finally made it. It was miraculous how he did it. But therefore, he doesn't like him still.
Yeah, that, and then the NXT feud with Kevin Owens when he came in, as great of a thing that was at NXT, I think they missed a big opportunity by saving that for main card instead of it being Sami made it there first or whatever. It could be bring them both to the main card, and then Sami wins gold first, and then have that best friend Kevin Owens stab you in the back. As good as it was with Jericho, I think it could have been that much better with Zayn, especially since people's education and knowledge of Zayn and Owens' history were they're legitimate, like IRL best friends. Like these guys are known to be best friends. They wrestled everywhere together.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was a great thing in NXT. It's the reason why Sammy, I believe, got over in NXT as much as he did. But I think a lot of that got lost in the rub, got lost in time from the move up. And even when he did come, when they finally brought Sammy up, they tried to touch on the Kevin Owens thing again. But it was more or less Sammy jobbing to him at that point than it was a legitimate feud between the two. So I think I think that's something that they kind of blew their load in NXT that they could have really pushed Sammy with, and still had Kevin Owens look really strong as a heel at the main card picture.
As far as Sammy goes, I think he's great, but I just don't know what his ceiling is with WWE. I don't think they value him as much as he should be.
I think he has a glass ceiling, but I don't think WWE will let him ever break through it.
Yeah.